Yeah, it was 7 years back, right? I hit the lowest point of my life, okay? Exactly 7 years back. And it kind of lasted for a few months. I never felt more miserable in my life, I think, since I could remember what my life was all about, right? And, I was addicted, okay? So, exactly 7 years back. So what was this addiction all about, right? It was not drugs. It was not smoking. It was not drinking. None of these, right? It was actually YouTube addiction, okay? I was deeply addicted to YouTube, binging on videos whole nights for days, for weeks, for months, okay? Before I knew what was happening, I had passed 3-4 months, completely down, right? I mean, I never recall I was so less of energy in my life, right? Completely depressed, completely devoid of any energy. And then I realized, right? I dig more. Then I realized it was all by design, okay? What was happening to me was all by design. The YouTube algorithm was controlling my brain, right? And ironically, I always loved their algorithms, right? I was a big admirer of Google and, the algorithms that they developed. And here I was a victim of that. And it was not just me, right? When I researched more, it was not just me. It was an addiction that was happening to the masses. I was not a single guy there. That's when I got very angry, okay? Angry at two things, right? One is, why is there no legislation? For example, if you look at cigarette packs today, right? Cigarette packs today carry, don't smoke. Otherwise, I mean, you get those scary pictures on the cigarette packs, which warn you, okay, before smoking, what is going to happen. Then you have this alcohol, right? On that also you have this good markers, which says, don't drink. I mean, you'll face liver cancer, right? But why is it not there with YouTube? I mean, or any of the social media? When I go there, it's like beautiful websites that are there. I mean, it kind of lures you into it. And there is not even a single warning sign. Why is it not there? And I was also angry at Google, right? I mean, it says, do no evil. Okay, if you kind of know the Google caption, it says, do no evil. And why is it being done to its admirers, right? I'm like very angry, okay? Two things. And things got scarier, okay? As days went by, it got scarier. I could see a lot of kids spending hours on social media, okay? Not just, minutes. I mean, and the data was even more scary. And today also, like, you kind of trend is continuing, right? You can see majority of them spending like 6 hours, more than 6 hours per day, okay? On social media. And me being an addict, I know how it is, okay? So very scared and very angry. Again, why something is not being done about all this? Then one interesting data point, right? You always look at history of addiction. You'll see some interesting things. So I think I'm sure all of you would have tasted Coca-Cola, right? At least know about Coca-Cola, okay? I'm sure all of you would have tasted. So this was Coca-Cola ad in 1800s, right? And you can see down there, it was advertised as brain and narrow drink, okay, in 1800s. Guess why? Guess why it was a brain and narrow drink? It contained a drug called cocaine, okay? Back then, general public could access cocaine through Coca-Cola, the most popular drink. And it was all legal. Just think for a moment, it was all legal. The drug which caused permanent damage to your brain, most toxic drug, was legal. Yeah, was legal, right? And it was also used for marketing. Forget like warning. It is not like warning say. It's not like cigarette, right? Where you may end up, deep addiction, brain damage and all. The best, see the word, best brain and nerve drink, okay? So that's how marketing works, right? Because at that point of time, you realize why all this is happening. So when any product enters the market, especially the addiction product, okay, the effects of which is not known, it's marketed the way it is, right? And in 1800s, Be it cocaine, be it heroin, be it opium, everything was legal, available to public, even children could have it in 1800s. And once the research took over, right, restrictions started. In 1900s, countries started banning it. And now it has reached a point where if you are found carrying any of these drugs, you will get death penalty. Okay? So that's how much, the power of lack of information is, right? 1800 perfectly legal, now you get death penalty. See the contrast, right? And that's how the legal system works. It needs proof. It needs proof of at scale. This is harmful. And that's only when, the bans and all start. Now, I see similar pattern with social media, okay? When did social media start, right? We all know, like Facebook, the great story, 2006, in college, Harvard College, like he did something and, it went viral, right? Mark Zuckerberg did something, it went viral. And it reached a point where, social media now is covering half of world's population. Just think of it, one set of platforms reaching half of world's population, okay? And then again, now studies are being observed where it's affecting everyone, and especially the teenagers, okay? Below 16, it's clear that it's affecting with their brain growth. And there are countries now which is outright banning. Below 16, you cannot register a social media account. France has done it, Norway has done it, Australia is doing it, and even India is like kind of passing that legislation, okay? So this is how it works, right? There was no issue from 2006 to this till it reached 4 billion, and especially with pandemic, there was a surge. And before pandemic, 2017 is when I faced my addiction episode, and post that is when, countries are waking up, bans are being talked about. And one more interesting thing about all this, right? What drives all this? Why, for example, Google, right? When it says do no evil, is doing what it is doing, right? It's all economics, okay? So this is another interesting part I'll tell you about addiction. If you are asked a question, right, which is the best performing stock in 20th century? What stock gave you the maximum returns in 20th century? Right? Guess what it is? It's a stock called Altria, okay? It's a cigarette company. So addiction is what drives economies. I mean, that is why even today people know cigarette causes cancer, but why is it not outright banned? Because it's how our economies work, right? And that is also the reason why even social media may be affecting people at scale, right? They will not be outright banning, right? People will at most put a warning sign. Your brain may get screwed, or some brain images they'll put, but it will definitely not be banned, right? That's how the economics work. Now, another interesting thing, right, which I have not captured in the slide, okay? Now, how about last few years, right? Since that paper came, Attention All You Need, right? The transformer paper, which is the technology behind ChatGPT or LLMs and all that. Now, the effect of AI on all of us, that's not even being captured. I'm just talking about social media. Now, just look at the next version of things. How much impact it will have, not just on our brains, on everything else, right? I mean, it sounds scary, right? So the point I want to make is technology bad, right? Is it bad to use technology? Unlike tobacco or drugs or alcohol, right? Technology is not a one-way street. It has two things, okay? Technology used in a right way. What is the difference, right? It can be worst. I got addicted with technology. At the same time, if you ask me, what is the most useful thing I have used in my life? My answer is the same. YouTube is the most useful thing I have used in my life. All my learnings have happened on YouTube. I can't think of, the progress I have made in my career without YouTube. It's a wonderful platform for learning, right? So what is the difference? The difference is one thing, the purpose, why you use it. So if you look at YouTube, you can scroll with YouTube Reels, but also you can learn using it, okay? And one more interesting data point that I found, right, for all this addiction, it's all about this chemical in our brain called dopamine, okay? What is this chemical, right? What does it do? It is the one thing that influences, why you'll scroll. It's a pleasure-seeking chemical, okay? So that is the reason why, I was scrolling, right? I was seeking pleasure. I was like anticipation of pleasure, and it's a variable aspect to it. I mean, YouTube guys and all these Facebook guys have figured out exactly how our brain works, and I was at the center of it, right? And I could relate. It's like you mindlessly scroll. Today, I travel by metro each day, right, to avoid traffic. And I could see the entire coach, right? People are just doing this. I mean, 90% of people are just doing this. Why does it happen? It is because of dopamine, the pleasure-seeking chemical in your brain, right? Now, what is that chemical that motivates us to learn, right? I said YouTube is again one of the best learning tools. I mean, not the one of the best, it's the best learning tool that I have found. And again, the chemical responsible for, why I want to go to YouTube to learn, right, is again dopamine. Dopamine is again the motivation chemical that is there, right, in our same thing. I mean, same chemical, see the two different possibilities. Same platform, see the two different possibilities, right? So it's like both are same and see the outcomes. One is, you go after pleasure, you scroll, and post-scrolling, all of you have observed this. I mean, after hours of scrolling, one is you sense, okay, it's been 2 a.m. now. And you also sense that emptiness, right, tiredness. And the next day is completely screwed, no proper sleep. I mean, you're depleted of energy, everything. So, and other is the motivation aspect, right? I mean, see the two paths. One is something that lures you. It's like a beautiful road, but if I follow the road, I am like screwed. The other is, more like a mud road, right? It's like so boring. Okay, learning actually is a long activity. It's a boring activity, and it's a struggle. I mean, the concepts are so struggle, right? I mean, it's not like I kind of I kind of go through those videos. I don't understand. It's a struggle, and a lot of challenge involved, right? But end of that journey, you feel energized. You feel that fulfillment. So two paths. Right, one is beautiful road, one is mud road, and then the path I take, one is like I completely depleted of energy and I'm like mindlessly doing this, and the other path where it's like struggle there, it's a boring thing. I mean, all your own, boring, but the end of it, it's like you'll get that sense of fulfillment. You feel energized at the end of it, right? So what is the difference? I mean, why you have these two different outcomes? So all folks, like one thing, the reason why I'll always choose, say, motivation over pleasure, right? Muddy road over a beautiful road is one thing. It's to me purpose, okay? If I have a good purpose, be it social media, be it YouTube, be it AI, everything is driven by purpose, okay? If you don't have purpose, technology or any other thing is very scary. If you have purpose, then the outcomes are beautiful, right? Outcomes are the best. So in next few minutes, I'll just summarize my 45 years of life. This is how, if you kind of look at my fulfillment journey, right, as you assume like I'm going to die in a few years or just whatever time, right? And if I look back at my life, my reflection of my life, fulfillment aspect of what all I have done, right? So like I captured the lowest point was the dopamine spikes. Those few months I had binging on the content, eating mindlessly, right, for months. That is where my lowest thing is. Everything else I have done with the fulfillment is way better than that. Like I liked watching movies. I really liked eating food. I mean, there has been, typical things, right? You go for vacations, constructing house, buying a car. Then definitely, there is high that you feel when you achieve like marks, you get good marks. Then people are praising you, you get your first job. I mean, these are all great things in life. You get salary, you get promotion. I mean, these are all hikes, right? But one thing that, you ask a person who is aging, right? Like me and many of you, many of the elder people here, everything passes by. I don't even recall what my salaries were, what my promotions are. As time goes by, you kind of forget everything, right? And what stays always is the part that I captured there. I mean, for example, joy of learning, right? Once you pick up, getting there is hard, but once you are there, no one can take it from you. I mean, you as kids would have experienced, right? You're trying at a difficult problem. You try again, you fail, the teacher corrects you, the online material corrects you, but once you have that aha moment, wow, I learned it, right? That thing. So that part for life, it's not just that moment. It's not just when you have exams. It's for your entire life, right? It's for your entire life, you kind of carry that habit. Similarly, the healthy relationships part, your family, your friends, I mean the healthy relationships, this stay with you forever. Similarly, for me, it's like, I really like badminton, right? I would love to, play even till I die, like this sports, right? And definitely trekking is another thing I figured out. So this purposeful living part is a discovery phase for me, right? It's kind of goes on adding and everything else. For example, I buy a beautiful car. I don't think that excitement lasts beyond, few days. So guys, like here, it's all, the journey is all about what is that you can take till your deathbed, okay? And what is that fulfillment, whether you may be losing money, you may be facing failures, right? You may be losing job losses, you may not get good admission yet. You guys will all be trying to get, good admit to great colleges. You may not get the best college you're aspiring for, right? So there are many things, right? Many things that may go wrong, especially with AI taking over. All the discussions are around it. With AI taking over, guys, you can never anticipate. The way, just look at 2 years back. None of us anticipated what is happening to the world. There are job losses. Assume there is a legislation that comes, right, which makes self-driving legal in India. More than 1 crore jobs are lost immediately, right? You just have no control of your life at the moment, okay? So I'm not fear-mongering here, but I'm saying life will throw a lot of things at you which may not be favorable to you. So you will hit through wins, you will have your own wins, you will get a good college, you may not get a good college. Your friends may like you, your friends may hate you. Your parents, your mothers, your teachers may praise you, may not praise you. So everything, I mean, you can't control what all happens, right, in the life, okay? I mean, you may make money, you may lose money. Like last week, I mean, all of us, whoever has a lot of investments in stock market have experienced it. I mean, that's a great journey, right? Stock market itself it's so unpredictable, life is, okay? So one thing that stays with you till you die is the purpose. Just keep hunting for it. Doesn't matter you don't find it, doesn't matter. See, be very honest to yourself, right? Don't fake it, but just keep hunting. I mean, one of my friends, I had a conversation today, and he said, if there is no confusion in your brain, then you have a problem. If you think you are clear, then, you have a problem. If you have confusion is when you are normal. Don't fake clarity. Let the confusion come out. Let the awareness that you are not finding the purpose come out, and silence all the distractions. I mean, keep hunting for the purpose, and that is what you need in your life. Nothing else matters. Till your deathbed, one thing that you need is hunting for your purpose and just adding to that list. Okay? Thank you.